Hello friends, I'm Miss Angela and welcome to Afternoon Adventures with the Cuyahoga Falls Library. Our theme for this month is dinosaurs, and I am super excited to show you all of the cool stuff we included in your kit. Now, this tutorial video is going to be a little bit different from my previous ones. Those were more focused on showing you an up-down view of how we're doing all of the crafts. This one, I'm just going to unpack the box for you and sort of explain how each of these activities works best. So, as always, I would highly recommend that you guys grab scissors, glue, tape, and anything that you might want to color or decorate with. Crayons, markers, paint, anything like that. All right, so you should have all received your Dino Kit. And when we go ahead and open this up, the first thing that you'll see is your instruction sheet. And this has a lot of good information on the different crafts and activities. Then you should also have a hard block that looks like this and an assortment of other materials. So I'm going to explain this one first just because it'll be really simple. This is your dinosaur excavation block, okay? So just like a paleontologist, which is somebody who unearths dinosaur bones and fossils and all sorts of things from long ago, we invite you to excavate this block. Now there are a few different ways you can do this. We did include a small thick craft stick that you should be able to use to start scraping some of this away to discover what's inside. You might also want to try like an old metal spoon, I think would work well. Some of these blocks might be kind of hard, so you may want to grab your grown-up and head outside with a hammer and see if you can break off some of those bigger chunks, okay? But we think this will be a lot of fun, and we're excited to see what you guys find inside. Okay, now we often include an element of dress up in these kits, and this month's dress up comes in the form of this roll of paper. So if you unroll this, you should have a nice long sheet of blue paper as well as a couple shorter strips of green. So you are going to use these green pieces, you'll tape them together to make yourself a hat of sorts. Now you might actually want to even cut these down so it's thinner, so that you would only have something about that wide going around your head. It's really up to you. And then you can decorate that crown with spots, stripes, feathers, however you want your crown to appear. Then this blue paper, this is going to be our spikes running down our head and our back. All right, so the way that this is going to work is, let's see, the way I would suggest that we do this is you'll take your paper long ways like this. If it's dragging on the floor, if it's a little too long, you can always cut it down to make it a little bit shorter. And then what you want to do is fold it in half. Again, long ways. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we've got it folded in half like this. And then you're going to take your scissors and you'll start cutting triangles out of this piece of paper. Now, you want to make sure that you're not cutting on the folded side. You want to cut on the side where you have the two pieces of paper meeting like this. And this is really simple. You're going to start cutting some triangles, and you don't want to go all the way to the fold. So as you start to cut, it's going to look like this. All right, you see how I'm leaving space between the tip of my triangle and the fold. So these are going to form our spikes. So you'll want to keep cutting, and you'll want to try to make sure that those triangles are all ending about the same length. You can see here I've gotten a little too far down there. So you want to try to make sure that they're all about the same distance away from the fold. All right. Now I'm going to grab a finished one that I have to show you guys what the final product looks like. All right, so there's my finished one. And once you have finished cutting triangles down this whole line of paper, you're going to take each one of those triangles and very gently fold them in. So this is why you don't want to cut all the way down to the fold, because you're going to leave a strip in the middle. So you can see here how I've folded those triangles in. And then I will do the same on this side. And as you can see, that gives you some triangles that are sticking up, as well as a strip of paper running down the middle. Okay, so like I said, I would show you a final one. So this is our final spiky strip of paper, and if you want to, you could take a little bit of tape and tape those tips of the spikes together, and that'll hold the triangles together just a little bit better. So just something really simple like this to kind of hold it in place. And then the idea here is that you will take this row of spikes and attach it to the crown that you've made, like this, and then when you turn to the side, you look like a stegosaurus, right? You've got a beautiful line of spikes all down your back. So, like I said, for this one, when you're cutting the triangles, don't cut all the way down to the fold. You can see here, if I fold this one back exactly in half, you can see that there's still a decent amount of space. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but you want to make sure, there's a little bit to hold it together. Then you'll fold your triangles in. You can see the lines here. Fold those in. I would also recommend, at least for the top of your spike, to cut one end like this, because this gives you an extra flap of paper that you can stick to your headband. All right, so one other cool thing about those spikes is that you're going to be left over, you'll have a lot of triangles. So we mentioned this in the instruction sheet. If you have some empty tissue boxes hanging around, or shoe boxes, you can use those as dinosaur feet. Tissue boxes are probably going to be simplest. You won't need to do any cutting. You'll just put your foot inside. You can glue paper on the outside. You can paint the tissue box, and then you can totally use these guys as extra little claws. So for that, I would just crease one end of that, and then that's something that you could tape on to the shoe box, and you'll have some dinosaur claws on your feet. So that's just a fun little dress-up activity. All right, now most of these things I'm going to take out of the box right now. You should have a paper towel tube, 2 larger craft sticks, some sticky blue paper, a few fabric dinosaurs, and then some egg cartons, some rocks, a little bit of moss. And we're going to set those to the side for a moment. And then at the very bottom of your kit, you should also have some green tissue paper, as well as a plain piece of white paper and a white paper with a cutout of a dinosaur. All right, now this is definitely a very artistic project. We would like you to take this blank piece of cardstock and decorate a really colorful, beautiful background. It can be totally abstract. It's really entirely up to you what you want this to look like. I did a really quick version here. You can see I just colored some big splotches of color, because then what you'll do is you'll take your cutout of the dinosaur and put it over, and then your design will show through and your dinosaur will really pop. So like I said, I would probably use paint. I think that would be really fun. Bright colors, a really cool design, but markers or crayons are going to work great too. And then once your background is dry, you'll just glue your white silhouette on top, and you'll have some really cool dinosaur art. So that one is nice and simple. And finally, we would like you to take your box that your kit came in and use it to create a dino-rama. Now, a diorama is sort of a model, a scene of something that happened in a different time or a different place. And a lot of times kids will make these for different school projects. So some of you may have already made a diorama before. I would recommend taking these craft sticks and taping them to the back of your lid like this. And that will keep the lid from falling closed. So you'll put those like that, and then you can either choose to set up your diorama like this or like this. I would recommend this way, just because I think that's going to give you some more options. Then again, you can break out your paints, or if you want to put a piece of paper back here, I would decorate a background, maybe put some blue sky, some hills, some trees, whatever you want. And then you can use some of these elements that we included in the kit to create a really cool scene for your little dinosaurs. So the blue sticky paper, that might make a really good river or a lake. I think the green tissue paper could be good for bushes or leaves on a tree. We've got the moss and the rocks. You can also use the egg cartons those came in to create some hills, or for example, a volcano. If you've got clay at home, clay is always really fun for dioramas. You might be able to make something cool out of that. You could do whatever you like with this paper towel roll. I think, you could cut it into sections and make those trees, maybe add some of the tissue paper leaves. There are really all sorts of things that you could do with this. And then once you've got it all decorated, you have these different dinosaurs that you can add to the scene. All right, so that's what we've got for this month's kit. I really hope that you guys enjoy creating and making, and as always, we would love to see your finished creation. So please feel free to send us pictures in response to the email that you were sent with this video link. All right, if you had fun doing this one, please consider signing up for next month's afternoon adventures. We have some really fun stuff planned for that one as well. I think our theme is going to be gingerbread and candy. So very appropriate for the season. All right, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.